Hey, welcome everyone to another consumer tech advice video. This time we're talking about Microsoft just not understanding gamers in general. So we're covering Windows and Linux gaming, Xbox the console itself, the head of Xbox, which is Phil Spencer, as well as exclusives and their plan, and yes, of course, you can't forget about Game Pass. So we'll compare Windows 11 to Linux gaming, specifically starting with PC handhelds. Because it's very interesting. There's a channel, Dave2D. He got the Lenovo Legion Go S running with Windows 11. And then shortly after that, Valve released SteamOS for the same device. And when Dave did his comparison of both devices running their different respective operating systems, he found that the performance with SteamOS, which is Linux based, from Valve, was significantly better in frames per second performance, as well as battery saving mode when he put the device to sleep. With SteamOS, it actually went to sleep. With Windows 11, it didn't, and it would just continue running the battery in the back. It would get hot and continuously drain the battery. So people are experimenting by loading SteamOS on their desktop computers and gaming with it. Now, technically, according to Valve, it's not officially supported for desktop gaming yet, but that might certainly change in the future. And people are noticing in some game results, specifically like say Cyberpunk 2077, which is a massively popular game, and it's one of the most beautiful looking games ever made, they're getting better results with SteamOS on desktop versus Windows as well. In fact, with the more mature gaming distribution of Linux, which is called Bazzite, people are getting much more stable gaming on this Linux flavor than on Windows 11. Just because there's no bloatware, there's no garbage, it's just a smooth experience, and it just works great for day-to-day usage as well as gaming. Because with Linux, a lot of people don't realize you can get regular apps like Brave privacy browser, Spotify, a free alternative to Windows Office. Like, it's really crazy how far Linux has come along. Now, it's not perfect because there are some games that have like anti-cheat technology built in, especially like a lot of live service play games, which are very popular. They're not really supported on Linux yet. Those are the main deal breakers for a lot of people, but for most other people, these single player games especially, it works just great, if not better, on Linux versus PC handheld or even on desktop gaming. And it's crazy because how is it that Microsoft, a $3 trillion company best known for its operating system, because that's where the roots are founded in, is doing so terrible with a bloated operating system people are starting to really dislike, versus Linux, which is mainly community driven and modified and even made even better with gaming by a company called Valve, maybe you've heard of it, which is basically a storefront for gaming. That's their main bread and butter business. It's just embarrassing because Windows 11 has so much junk, stuff that no one's asking for, stuff like AI. No one asked for that. Candy Crush being installed on Windows 11. No one asked for that. Constantly signing up for Microsoft 365 and OneDrive cloud storage, which I do have for my family plan. And it keeps asking me to sign up for the plan, even though I have it and it's installed on OneDrive on my Windows machine, which drives me crazy. Bing search and the start button, which no one asked for. And the continuous pop-ups of trying to make Edge my default browser, which I simply do not want to happen. All this combined is just like crazy because Windows 11 is now collecting your data and selling it for an operating system you have to pay for. Now, if anyone says, well, I bought my laptop and it came with Windows for free, it's not free. The manufacturers of Lenovo, HP, whatever, they have to upsell the pricing of their desktop to include the cost of Windows. Windows is never free. So after the internet backlash from like Dave's video and people testing Linux gaming on desktops with Bazzite and SteamOS, Microsoft kind of went into panic mode in my opinion, because what they did then was showed off their Xbox handheld, the ROG Xbox Ally X. Well, there's two of them, but the X version is a bit more powerful. And they also had a bunch of YouTube internet celebrities preview the device, but they weren't really able to play games. Like, they weren't able even to comment on the performance, the graphics and whatnot. They weren't really able to test the battery or anything. Like, a lot of the previews that you see online had next to no information. In fact, a lot of questions they asked for Microsoft, these internet, YouTubers, what if not, Microsoft representatives didn't even have an answer. They're like, we don't know yet. We don't know yet. That was their constant response. It's rather suspicious for Microsoft to preview something with so little information and can't even play games, extensively to see what does it perform like. I honestly think this preview is done prematurely and it's just damage control because SteamOS and Linux embarrass them when it comes to gaming on PC handheld and desktop. The most ironic thing about the preview is that it opens with an Xbox interface but is running Windows 11 underneath, which you can switch to. And according to the developers who talked about this, they said that this Windows 11 is so stripped down of all that junk, it can run on 2 gigabytes of memory. That's it. I'm more interested in getting that version of Windows in my hand because it sounds like it would just be like Windows 7, which was the last great Windows in my opinion, but just modernized with stability with Windows 11. with all the junk gone. They should never have released Windows 11 bloatware with the handheld Lenovo device. They should have known, they should have tested that, hey, our version of this sucks compared to Steam OS and the Steam Deck. How did they not test this? They must have Q&A and labs where they test the performance. They're like, don't release this until it's stabilized and we strip down Windows. No, they embarrass themselves. So I firmly believe that this handheld thing is just Microsoft doing a bunch of damage control, prematurely showing off this handheld with little to no information. And if anything, there's a lot of mystery. Can it play Xbox and PC games? Most likely the answer is yes on that one though, because it does say it supports Steam and Epic stores, which are supported on their platform, which is very surprising. I really hope this kind of methodology succeeds though, despite this video criticizing Microsoft, because this will be a step in the right direction for them and the consumer and general gamers. And I'm hoping that if this device succeeds, Microsoft will learn their lesson on the desktop side and have like a gutted down, trimmed down version of Windows we can utilize and just game with any storefront that we want, including, yes, Game Pass, because that would be amazing. Microsoft is killing the Xbox console. And I hold Xbox near and dear to me because I've been using it since the original one released when I was like just a teenager. However, it's no secret that Microsoft is selling their consoles at a loss. Like, this is pretty old information. In fact, they make a lot of their money on accessories, games, and especially services like Game Pass. They're big moneymaker. In fact, it's been reported that Microsoft is selling the fraction of the number of consoles compared to the PS5 console. Yet Microsoft recently increased the prices of its console, accessories, and soon their games that'll be released on Xbox. And remember this particular point when it comes to Game Pass later on. So why would they increase the pricing of their console if it's doing poorly in sales? Honestly, if I had to guess, they're hardly selling any consoles. They might be thinking, let's clear our inventory, and if we're lucky, then people buy it at an absurd cost. Please don't do that. It's a bad idea. And they're probably relying on their best feature, which again is Game Pass subscription service. And the head of Xbox, who is Phil Spencer, is removing Xbox exclusive games, which is crazy. This is best seen with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Oblivion Remastered, and even Forza being released on the PS5 store. Forza being an Xbox game studio, and it's on the PS5 store. That is insane. So how did this come about? We really need to talk about exclusives and Phil Spencer together as one kind of nutshell item. People online are always rushing to, praise Phil. He's a super casual guy. He loves gamers. He always says exclusives should go away. I never believed in that stuff. He wears a leather jacket. He talks about being for the gamer and wears a leather jacket like another corporate executive. I wonder who that could be, who's also ruining gaming in general. But the truth of the matter is, he's not for the gamer. He's just another corporate executive. And this is no secret because his Xbox consoles are not selling well. And he's openly said that, well, if the Xbox consoles aren't selling well, we need to make money on our Xbox games somewhere. And we need to open that by putting on different stores, like the PlayStation Store. Yes, Sony will take a cut of the sale, but hey, it's better to make some money than none at all on a console they can't even sell properly. And if he's a casual, down-to-earth guy, then why is Microsoft, especially in his Xbox division, laying off people like crazy, nearing almost 2,500 jobs in the last few months alone? Like, I don't think people understand how many jobs is 2,500 people. That is insane. They're unemployed now. According to Phil Spencer, 650 of those layoffs, it was people in the corporate and supporting functions, but he's still there with his job, which is extremely high paying, and he probably gets a crazy bonus, despite their hardware division completely flopping. Like, how are you in his position, backed by a $3 trillion company and doing so bad? And we'll talk about that $3 trillion shortly. Look, his only saving grace is Game Pass. Let's face it, he's not creative in any way. It's a subscription service. That's not creative in any form or manner. He's not for the people, he's for the share investors of Microsoft, including his own massive salary. And I do feel for him. He had a lot to fix with the whole Xbox, use 360 comment, debacle that happened a few years ago. But he hasn't done anything innovative at all. And that same $3 trillion company, the rest of Microsoft, gave him $69 billion to buy Activision and Blizzard. And before that, he was given $7 billion to buy ZeniMax Media, which includes Bethesda, which in some of those purchases of the studios has actually churned out some major flops like Starfield, Diablo 4, Avowed, and so on. I'm not saying it's a total flop because there have been some hits like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, The Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered. The last one got a ton of hype, but you have to remember that's a remaster. It's not a new game. When you look at the games released from Microsoft-owned studios, hits versus flops, the ratio is actually really bad. It's not in their favor. I'm still waiting on a successor to Halo Infinite. The most Xbox-related promotional item is usually Master Chief, but this game and content really aren't anywhere to be seen. In fact, when Xbox Series X released, the box had a massive Halo Master Chief promo, but the Halo Infinite game released a year after the console. How does that make sense? I don't think Phil knows how to market Xbox apart from Master Chief, Forza, and Game Pass. How is it this bad with so many studios under his reign? And like the stories don't get better. In fact, the studio behind Hi-Fi Rush, the video game, the studio being Tango Gameworks, was shut down just out of nowhere. People on the internet, just regular folks like you and me, were completely baffled because they won a ton of awards, was a very successful game. Like this was a true hit for Microsoft. But they decided that, hey, let's just shut down the studio and lay off even more people. When the president of Xbox, Sarah Bond, was asked about it by Bloomberg, she gave a very political answer. She just dodged the question and gave an answer that made absolutely no sense. She's just another corporate executive suit that doesn't get the gaming industry. What's crazy is that when she gave her nonsensical answer that made absolutely no sense, the camera operator just happened to zoom out at the right moment. I don't know if this is done on purpose, but it's pretty funny. And sad because it shows a chart at the top, Microsoft Xbox year-over-year growth. And you can just see that it's just kind of skyrocketing. So why are they laying off all these people, including an amazing studio with an amazing game? I think her and her boss, Phil, were just looking for a potential bigger payout by shuttering another talented group of folks. And Phil Spencer and the president of Xbox and all the other executives that work with Phil should be absolutely ashamed and embarrassed. They just keep laying off very talented people and just keep taking their direction and shoving it to the ground. Their games don't sell, and they're like, yeah, well, we need to lay you all off because we made bad decisions. It's just embarrassing. Now, I mentioned earlier that Xbox increased the pricing of their console, accessories, and soon to be their games. Well, that's a big problem they introduced. Aha! They have the perfect solution. It's called Game Pass. That's right, they're going to promote the service that's been around for a while and is a solution to the same problem they caused. They're making their games more expensive to have more people go onto Game Pass. Why? Because that is their biggest revenue maker at the Xbox division. So they're promoting a solution to the same problem they purposely caused with no explanation whatsoever, but that's clearly what's happening. Now look, Xbox Game Pass is hard to be criticized by anyone, including myself. I'm a little biased here that it's an awesome service. It's a gaming subscription service that provides incredible value with multiple subscription tiers available for Xbox and PC. Now, one of the cool things about Game Pass, I don't think a lot of people realize this, but at least you can do it here in Canada, I'm not sure about other countries in the world, is that when you cancel early, Microsoft refunds you the difference back. So for example, I want to beat Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and I bought Game Pass just for that. I beat the campaign in about, I don't know, 2 weeks or something, and then canceled my Game Pass. Because I had 2 weeks left before my next renewal, Microsoft refunded the 2 weeks I didn't use. I did the exact same thing with Indiana Jones. I beat it in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I got that 2.5, 3 week refund back. And what's wild about this game is that when they came out here in Canada, each game is a crazy $90. But because I canceled the subscription early, I think I only spent, I don't know, $30. So I saved $150 by using it on Game Pass versus, buying them outright. This actually works out for people like me that are going to play the campaign once and just walk away from it forever. Although if you're looking to play multiplayer, that's a different story because you need, Game Pass service. Although that's kind of garbage in a sense because to play multiplayer on PC, you don't need a subscription service. It's just another way for Xbox and, PlayStation, all these other console makers to make more money. Now, a lot of people actually compliment Game Pass for having a lot of indie games, and I can't deny that. There are a ton. It's actually astonishing. However, this is not Microsoft being nice to indie developers. This is because it's very cheap for Microsoft to license these indie games. Think about it. For them to license a AAA title that just released brand new, it's very expensive cost you have to pay to the studio. But indie games are very small studios, sometimes by a single developer, maybe 2 or 3 people. It's very cheap for them to pay them and say, hey, we'll put your service on Game Pass. So not actually doing any favors to the gamers. This is just a quick win for Microsoft, especially because indie games are becoming much better than a lot of AAA titles. Myself, and I've asked of other people that play Xbox, the same question, we all had the same answer, including myself. What is the best thing about Xbox? Game Pass. Another way to say that is the best thing about an Xbox console is a subscription service. Something you have to pay a monthly fee to play games you cannot own and needs an internet connection. That's insane. You're paying for a console and the best feature of it and reasonably priced feature is a subscription service, not their video games. So is Game Pass good? Yeah, I don't deny it. But what is sad is that Microsoft has to keep increasing their pricing with no merit to push people into the biggest revenue maker, which is Game Pass. Microsoft is a $3 trillion company. The gaming division of it is worth billions upon billions. It's not small, it's massive. Microsoft can find a fine balance between Game Pass and just regular game prices and console and accessory prices. If they had managed their exclusives properly, They could have made an Xbox device a hot selling device. They didn't have to cave into pressure and say, well, release it on PlayStation Store because we're bad at our job. That's exactly what it is. Phil is bad at his job. How did he let his hardware division flop so bad? Can Microsoft fix console gaming from their end and PC gaming handheld and make it competitive against Valve? I certainly hope so, because as a consumer, that's a win for me and you. And again, I've been playing Xbox since the original. So that's pretty much it. Don't be blinded by all of Microsoft's tactics. At the end of the day, it's to shove you into Game Pass and saying, we're the best. But it's a subscription service. You don't own the games. Don't forget that. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to check out my social links and website link in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.